Learning where to live in Atlanta can be like trying to figure out a maze. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the difference between the north side, the south side, inside the perimeter, and then outside the perimeter so you can figure out exactly where you should be living. So let's get into it. If you're new here, my name is Melanda Reese and I do sell real estate right here in this Atlanta area, and I am completely obsessed with keeping you in the know about everything that's going on in the city. Now, before we get into specific neighborhoods, there's something that you need to understand about Atlanta. It is not just one city. It is a big mashup of neighborhoods, suburbs, and little cities that all kind of blend together in the weirdest ways. You've got one area that's got historic bungalows and walkable streets. Then 10 minutes later, you're in a full-on suburbia with swim tennis communities and top-rated schools. If you keep going, you're now going to be looking at custom estates and horse trails. It just all changes really fast. And here's just a quick heads up. If you tell a true Atlanta native that you live in Atlanta, but your zip code says Alpharetta or Peachtree City, they will call you out. There's just this little unspoken rule about what really living in Atlanta means. So let's start up north, outside the perimeter, because this is where most people with school-age kids or retirees looking for like golf communities start their search. Now, if you're coming from out of state and you know that you want traditional suburban lifestyle, which means quiet streets, good schools, a little space to breathe, this is probably where you're going to land. And I'm actually working with a couple right now coming in from Florida. They're retired and their one goal is to be near a great country club so that they can play golf all day. For them, Alpharetta or Duluth is perfect. You've got some amazing golf communities out there, plus everything feels really clean and well kept. Now, Marietta is kind of the gateway to this whole area. It's big. It's not just one vibe though. You've got parts of Marietta that are super established with beautiful traditional homes, and then you've got other areas that are a little bit more hit or miss. The Marietta Square is their downtown area. Now it's cute. There's some farmer markets, eclectic shops, that small town, downtown feel, but I'm gonna be honest, it's really nothing to write home about. It's nice, but it's like a lot of suburban squares around Atlanta. So what does make Marietta stand out is that it's one of the closest suburbs to the city if you're coming down I-75. So if you're commuting or you just want quicker access to Midtown or Buckhead, that proximity is a huge win. Then you've got East Cobb, which has a better reputation than West Cobb, even though West Cobb is growing really fast and homes out there are newer and more affordable. East Cobb is where the schools are highly ranked and families absolutely love it. You're gonna see a lot of swim tennis communities, well-kept lawns, and kids riding bikes down the street. It feels very suburban, but in a good way. Clean, safe, and established. It's one of those places where people move in and they just stay for a really long time. Now, Kennesaw. Listen, if you're on a budget, this is where you want to look. It is further out, yes, and if you plan to go into the city regularly, that drive can wear you out. But if you work remote or you don't care about going into Atlanta that often, this area is a solid option. The homes there are more affordable, especially compared to East Cobb or Alpharetta, and you can get more house for your money. Now, there is nothing particularly special about Kennesaw. It's not flashy. The downtown is not some huge draw, but this works if you want something clean, newer, and affordable. Now, if you want to know more about this county, check out my other video I did where I go in detail on the top 4 counties in Atlanta. Now let's move on to Johns Creek and Alpharetta. Those are the polished suburbs. You've got some great schools, newer homes, golf communities like we mentioned earlier, and yes, you've got higher price tags. Now, the Avalon in Alpharetta is super hot right now. It is where everyone wants to live. It's walkable, it's upscale. There's restaurant shops and events that happen there. The same with like downtown Roswell, which has some similar vibes, but more of that historic charm. These areas are super desirable, but let me be clear, they are not close to Atlanta. People move up there thinking they're gonna pop into the city, and then they realize that traffic on 400 is an absolute nightmare. So if you work downtown or wanna be near nightlife, this may not be your spot. But if you're all about school, safety, and that country club lifestyle, this one here is top tier. All right, let's move ITP or inside the perimeter, and this is where things really start to shift. Now, living inside the perimeter is for the people who want to be near it all. The energy, the restaurants, the parks, the walkability, it is all right there. But just like the suburbs, every part of the city has its own vibe. And just because it's closer to downtown or midtown doesn't automatically mean it's gonna be better for you. So let's start with Brookhaven, because this is the one people think is outside the perimeter, but it's actually inside the perimeter. This is like having the best of both worlds. You've got charming bungalows, you've got million-dollar new builds, you've got tree-lined streets, and it's quiet without being boring. Now, I personally love Brookhaven for clients who want access to the city without actually feeling like they live in the city. Plus, you're right next to Buckhead, so you get to have all the perks of the restaurants, the shopping, whatever you want without dealing with the Buckhead traffic on a daily basis. So it's a win-win. Hey, real quick, if you're finding this video helpful and you want to stay in the loop about all things real estate, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I post videos packed with tips, area breakdowns, and everything you need to know to make confident decisions in this real estate market. And don't forget to click that notification bell so that you never miss out on anything. All right, let's jump back in. Now, speaking of Buckhead, this is where things get super fancy. You've got high-end shopping, designer everything, luxury condos, gated estates. It's given Beverly Hills of the South. But do not let the glitz fool you because there is a big price range here. You've got people in high-rise condos, walking distance to Lenox Mall, and then you've got folks in 10,000 square foot homes tucked away in little quiet back streets. So it's not all flash, but there are some seriously beautiful historic homes in Buckhead that people don't even know exist. But this is also important. Buckhead is not cheap. You're looking at $400,000 for a condo, and if you want a single family home, you're easily pushing $1.2 million or more. So if you're thinking Buckhead on a $600,000 budget, that's probably not gonna happen. And then there's Midtown, and this is what I call the heart of Atlanta. This is for the true city people. You are walking distance to Piedmont Park, the Beltline, the Fox Theater, every single brunch spot imaginable. It is a whole vibe. The people who move here usually want walkability, they want access to culture, and they don't mind a smaller space or a little bit of noise. So you're gonna find high-rise condos, cute historic homes, and townhomes tucked away in every single nook and cranny. And I tell my clients, if you want to feel the city's energy, Midtown is it. But do not expect peace and quiet or a giant backyard. This is where the city feels alive, and just like anywhere inside the perimeter, you're going to pay for the convenience. Condos in this area start at the 350,000s, but a single family home can go anywhere starting at 800,000 all the way up, depending on the location and the condition. All right, now let's head south because this part of Metro Atlanta doesn't always get the attention it deserves, but it's coming up quick, and let's start with South Fulton. So if you're looking for more land, newer construction, and you don't want to pay Buckhead or Alpharetta pricing, this is where things get interesting. So South Fulton is going to have a mix of established communities and big custom homes being built with a lot of space and room to breathe. Like they're going to have actual yards and privacy, not just 6 feet between you and your neighbor. Now, a lot of people overlook this area, but between the growth happening and then you've got Tyler Perry Studios there as well, it's a smart place if you're thinking about long term. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not as walkable, and you definitely need to be intentional about where you buy. But if you want that luxury look and feel without spending $1 million, South Fulton can deliver that. Most of the homes I show down there are between the price range of about $400,000 and $700,000, and some of the newer builds with high-end finishes can reach way over $800,000 to $1 million. Then there's Fayetteville and Peachtree City, totally different energy. Now, this is peaceful, clean, and kind of just picture perfect. Fayetteville has that southern charm. They've got big lots, newer builds, but it still feels kind of connected. And then Peachtree City, this is the city that has the golf carts as second cars, like literally no joke. The whole families are driving around town on golf carts just to go to school, to go to the grocery store, to go to Starbucks, you name it. So this is a slower pace of life, and people actually love it. So you've got a lot of retirees, families, even airline employees, because it is super close to the airport. So it's a really tight-knit community. You're not moving here for nightlife though. You're moving here for peace, quiet, and top-ranked schools. But just like the North Side, it is not cheap. Homes in Peachtree City and Fayetteville are usually in the $500,000 to the $900,000 range, especially in those well-known neighborhoods. And once people move in, they don't generally leave. So when a good one hits the market, it usually goes pretty fast. So yeah, that was a lot of information, but figuring out where to live around Atlanta is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It really comes down to your lifestyle, your commute, your budget, and what you want to do on a day-to-day basis. Now, the city, the North Side, the South Side, they all bring something totally different to the table. If you're still not sure which one fits you best, that's literally what I'm here for. So feel free to send me a message, drop something in the comments, and I'll help you narrow it down before you even step foot in a house. So if this video helped you, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to my channel and drop a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.